everybody, and
Hello.
welcome. We've got a slightly different setup today. We thought it would be really good to chat about church, faith, spirituality, just have a general chinwag, and maybe break down some misconceptions, and maybe give you a different perspective of what being a Christian really means to us. And we're going to be using this piece of research.
I keep wanting to call it the Z to A.
It's very American.
So American. The Z to A of Faith and Spirituality, which is a piece of research that British Youth for Christ did. I think it was about a year ago, 2 years ago maybe. I'm going to get in trouble for getting the wrong time now. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's a great piece of research. Basically asking 1,000 young people. 2020. All sorts of questions around faith and spirituality. I think as maybe like adults and older people, you like to have a certain idea of what you think young people think, but sometimes that's really wrong. So it's good to have this piece of research which is literally asking young people what they think about church, God, faith, and everything involved in that. So we're going to look at that a little bit today, and maybe get a few talking points out of it. Great. I mean, let's start from the top. I guess, throughout history, people have always believed in something. You could go right back to ancient Greeks, all the different Greek gods, Zeus and all that. They live on Mount Olympus. Mount Olympus, I think it is. Roman mythology, Mars, planet names and all that sort of stuff. Aliens. In the Bible, you can read about other gods that people believed in as well at the time. Gods like Baal and stuff. And even today, right, when we're out on the quay and chatting to some young people, I think quite a lot of them have got a sense that there maybe is something more, something bigger, something greater, but not really too sure what to call it.
In the research, a question was asked that was, do you believe in any form of supernatural being or power greater than yourself? And 51% said yes.
So this is out of 1,000 young people, randomly from around the UK.
So half of them believe that there is some form of supernatural being or greater power, which is interesting. Even if they don't know what it is, that it is something that they're thinking about.
Yeah, I think that does sound a lot like some of the conversations we have, where kids might say, I don't know, I believe in karma. Might have said that. Believe in fate, so like fate organises everything. I guess that's kind of like a bigger power, and of course you've got God as well, who I believe in personally.
Yeah, me too. So they were also asked who influences the way that you think about God and spirituality. 1% said church, which would kind of make sense if not many young people are attending a church.
Yep. I mean, I think we can, without statistics, you can it's probably not much more than 1%, right? Looking around.
55% said family, and 32% said their friends.
55%, so that's like 1 in 2.
Yeah.
Why is that so high compared to other things?
I think it's because the people that we spend the most time with, we become like. But what I do find really the most interesting about this question was that only 1% said science, influencing how they think about God and spirituality. When actually a lot of the time when we ask young people why they don't believe in God, they say, because of science. Science disproves God.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think, and not just young people, across the board, kind of people who may profess to be atheists. By the way, literally nothing against it. It's like we're just stating facts here. A lot of them would say, at least from what I've heard, that science, like I said, science disproves God. But from the way I see it, it doesn't. And for something to be scientific, it has to be able to be proven. So, the fact that there is, in some viewpoints, no evidence for God doesn't mean you've proven that he doesn't exist. It just means you haven't found any evidence for him. So it's not necessarily enough to say, because we don't have evidence, it's proven. It's until you can prove with evidence that there is no God, then you can kind of say that. So I guess that's maybe one side of why you might not be influenced by science.
Yeah, and I think it's also comes down to what you believe from the Bible, because there is evidence that the Bible and the documents are real.
Yeah.
But then it's how you how you interpret that. Like, because these documents are real, does that mean that there is a God and everything that's in it is true? Or does it mean that it's just something they came up with a long time ago? When asked, do you believe that Jesus was a real historical person? 53% said yes.
That sounds like quite a lot.
Yeah.
When, if you see 1% influenced by church, etc., why is it that up to 1 in 2 young people might believe Jesus was real, but then not be a Christian?
It's who you believe Jesus was, isn't it? C.S. Lewis said that you can either believe that Jesus was mad, bad, or God. He was either completely out of his mind, just making it all up. He was bad, and he was lying about what he was saying, or he was who he said he was. And of the 53% that said that they believed that Jesus was a real historical person, only 1% of those believed that he was the Son of God.
The debate's not really about so much whether Jesus was real or not. Like, a lot of people, 53% agreeing that there was someone called Jesus, maybe, that walked around, etc., lived, did stuff, don't really know, good or bad, whatever. But actually, it then strips right down to just 1% believing that he was who he said he was, the Son of God, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, who did everything that was kind of written about in the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Why do you think it's so hard for people to believe that he was the Son of God?
Well,
it is a big question.
Maybe they could answer. Maybe someone could answer in the comments something. Why is it so hard to believe that Jesus was the Son of God? I think it means, I think if you take Jesus at his word for being the Son of God, then it means a completely different way of life for you. It has to affect everything. All of a sudden, there is more to life. All of a sudden, there is an answer to what happens, why we're here, to who we are, in a great way. Personally,
one of my friends in school, the reason that he didn't want to come to church was because he was worried that it was going to be true, and that's why he said to me, he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to come to church because what if it's true?"
It's scary. It takes trust, faith, in many ways, which is almost a bit like blind trust. But like your friend said, like, you know, what if it is true? Well, think about that for a second. If it isn't true, and you know, me and you and the guys who go to church and Christians here in Kingsbridge, well, what have we done? We've tried to be good people. We love hanging out with young people. We try to make things fun, exciting, speak good words into people's lives. And if we die and it's not true, well, then at least we've tried to do some good.
Yeah.
But if it is true, and knowing Jesus, choosing to follow him, to open your life up to him, and if that is true, and the consequences of that can change everything eternally for you. So yeah, what if it is true? I think the other thing is that the Bible, when it talks about following Jesus, you know, it says it's not going to be easy. It says it's going to be hard. It's not promising you everything to be cushy, but it promises also that you can have an amazing relationship, a fruitful life, and live in the way that you were intended to live. So I think it's risky. There's a trust involved, but there's also everything to be gained.
So moving on to church, when asked how do you view church, 27% said negatively, 8% said positively, 34% said they didn't know, and then there was other answers as well. But that is not a lot of positive thoughts about church.
Totally get it. Depending on, I guess you have to think about what contributes to those views of positive or negative.
Over the page, they'd asked, have you ever had any contact with church? And of the 62% that said yes, we have, 20% had gone with school, so like
and school trips and stuff,
service or something, and then 33% had gone for a wedding, christening, or a funeral, so like an event that was kind of out of the ordinary of a normal church setting. And so are they actually getting a true representation of what church is? And maybe that's that's why they're not viewing it more positively.
Yeah, it's really hard, isn't it, to, you say don't judge a book by its cover, but if all you've seen is the cover, then it's difficult, isn't it? If you've only ever been to church for funerals, then everything associated with that is difficult and often quite sad. If you've been for weddings, great celebrations and stuff, but you've only ever been in for an hour and you're not even really there to be at church. You're there to support the couple really, getting married.
It's not really like what a church service is like, or being part of a church family.
And again, like you said, if you've been with school, I think what's that? No, because there might be schools like watching this.
Oh, sorry.
But from your experience, from living elsewhere, away from Kingsbridge.
Yeah, away from Kingsbridge, I always dreaded going to the church services. It would be put across in a way that was not relevant to us at all. Yeah. It was quite hard to understand. It was very cold. It was boring. And I'd have my friend sitting next to me and I was like, this is not what church is like for me. Like, please don't base what you think about God on this. Like, church is so much better than what you're seeing right now.
But that's it, isn't it? They're only seeing just that one little bit of what church is.
That's not a representation of what all church school trips are like. I'm sure some of them are really good.
Yeah. There is loads more in that piece of research, isn't there? You can actually buy it yourself. I don't know if you want to, but I found it really helpful looking at it anyway. And I think we'd be really open, to hearing what you think, hearing what you got to say. We always want to chat. We always there, on the quay or coming to school. Really, really keen to hear what you think about all of this. I suppose to sum up, first of all, that piece of research it shows that we are generally open to the idea of something bigger, something greater. For me, I just find it so amazing that I can put a name on that. I can have a connection, a relationship even with the greater power, greater being, I believe is God. It's completely transformed my life, how I see things, how I am, how I behave, in a great way. The second kind of piece that we're looking at was all about being influenced by the people, friends and family being the greatest influences on us naturally. It's not a bad thing to be influenced by people you hang around with, I don't think. I think family is the most important thing to input into us as we're growing up. I don't know where I'd be without my mum and dad. So it's not a bad thing, but we've also got to be open to knowing that other people's experiences have shaped their views, and it might not necessarily be the same for us. So whilst it's good to take on the views of other people, we've got to be open, haven't we, to really experiencing and seeing things for ourselves, because we might have a different experience than other people.
Yeah, and I think a big part of being a Christian is going and spending time with other Christians, people who believe the same thing, and learning more. I think some people might think, oh, you become a Christian, you believe these things and that's it. But actually, I find that I want to know more about it. I want to learn more about God and what He says and what He wants for my life. And going to church is a great way of doing that. And it's so much more than what going to a school service is like, or going to a wedding or a funeral. It's being part of a church family that support you, encourage you, and you do the same for them, and you have fun. It is like a family.
Some people might say, well, I don't, why do I have to go to church to be a Christian?
You don't. It's like it's like saying, oh, I've been to McDonald's and now I'm a hamburger. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian, but it is, I feel, an important part of being a Christian.
You can be a Christian, live a life of kind of solitude away from everybody and whatever. But meeting together on a Sunday for me is like when you get all your family together and have a roast dinner around grandma's house. It's so nice to be with other people you care for, that you love, that share the same beliefs as you, that you can grow together and laugh together, have fun together, and also learn together and worship together as well. It's about worshiping God as well as a big family. and I've really missed church, that we haven't been able to do it during lockdown. So I'm really looking forward to being able to go back and seeing everybody again.
It has been really good to have it on Zoom, so that we've actually been able to have some sort of connection to church. And it doesn't make it any less church, the fact that it's online and we can't physically be together. It's just a different way of doing it. And what we will do is we're going to link the Kingsbridge Family Church YouTube channel, so that you can have a look and you can tune in on a Sunday morning. They're great fun. And also we have started a youth service every Sunday as well, which is aimed at you guys. And I'm having great fun doing it.
They are really good, to be fair. Yeah.
We always play like some games and just do silly things. But also it is church. So we'll link that as well. If you're interested, then give them a watch. And if you have any other questions about this or any comments, please let us know. We'd love to chat about it more.
Maybe we can do another one soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been good fun. I've enjoyed it. I like the setup, like this.
I like the rug, it's very fluffy.
Yeah.
I have a pink one in my creative/prayer room / storeroom. Yeah.
Nice. Anyways, we would really encourage you, check out the YouTube channel, Kingsbridge Family Church. Check out Becky's youth services as well, all in the links and descriptions. I don't know where you're going to put them in the editing process somewhere. But it's been great to chat, and hopefully we will do it again soon.
Yeah, awesome. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.